I might pause here for a second before I move on to internships and just see if there are any questions. And I can't see the chat box. So Emily and Jacqueline, if there's anything I should address before moving on, let me know.
We do not yet have any chat questions or form questions.
Okay. Yeah, and if anyone wants to unmute and ask a question, I'll give you a minute to do that before I move on. And I'll take a drink of water.
Yeah,
I guess sorry, go ahead.
I was wondering what these CEL classes would look like for somebody who's not involved in a STEM major.
Oh yeah, sure. So like I mentioned, there are over 200 classes across campus, lots in College of Fine Arts, social and behavioral. What major are you looking into, just out of curiosity?
Right, I'm going into finance and art history, but I'm coming from Arts Force and writing up a blog post about your event today. So.
Cool, okay, so College of Fine Arts, humanities, social and behavioral sciences, those are rock stars in the community engaged learning world on campus. Dozens of, I think the social and behavioral sciences has over 60 classes with CEL designations. So anything from art classes to language classes to environmental sustainability studies, a wide array. Pre-law classes even as well. There's a lot of variety.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Someone else had a question?
Yeah, so I'm a biochemistry major, and I was kind of wondering what the CL class for biochemistry would look like. And if, like, I know you mentioned like research opportunities, is there research going on in those classes, or is that just certain specific environmental classes that do that?
The community-based research is often not affiliated with a specific class, rather a faculty member. And I can connect you if you want to with some faculty members who are doing community-based research. Part of the reason that's the case is because community-based learning is confined to that 15-week semester. And you know that that's a really short time for longer research, unless you have something going on like I do, which is year after year partnerships with a community member. For biochemistry, the community engaged learning is an optional component. And this is the case also for microbiology. You opt into the program. It's not mandatory or incorporated into the full class. It's not part of your grade. And you basically agree to do a little bit of extra work working with one of the community partners. So in biochemistry, you would work with the public school system to bring STEM enrichment activities to after-school programs at Title I schools, right? Title I meaning more than 50% of the population lives below the poverty line. Often these students, their families haven't gone to college, and so it's really important that they connect with someone who's in college and can start learning that college language. And also just bringing the love of science to these public school settings. Or you can volunteer with one of the free health clinics. And basically it's trying to indirectly connect what you're learning in biochemistry with building your science communication skills, which is incredibly important. We don't talk about science well enough in this culture. Right now, we know that almost half of the country doesn't believe that science is important in their lives. And so building our science communication skills is incredible. CJ, I hope to see you in biochemistry. It's only offered in the spring.
Okay.
So keep that in mind too.
Yeah, what year do you usually take that class?
I believe your junior year.
Okay.
Or so, yeah. But depends on, I mean, you're a biochemistry major, you may take it earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any last questions before I move on to internships? Okay. A little bit of the contrast between community engaged learning courses and internships is that the focus is on you as a student, building your professional competencies. And both of these are important, right? Yes, understanding how to be a responsible citizen and be involved in the issues, but also like getting you across that finish line to feel like you were ready for the next step in your career once you graduate. Internships are the most important way to get you feeling confident that way. When employers have been interviewed about what they want their kind of entry-level, just graduated from college employees to be good at, there's this list of 8 things here. And you'll notice none of them say, like really good at memorizing information, right? So these are life skills. These are what some could consider softer skills that often aren't offered in our academic setting. We don't always do as good of a job as we could when we're teaching classes to really give you leadership experience, for instance, or to really focus on a conversation about your work ethic, or not even necessarily working in a team. Sometimes you're sitting in a class and you're listening to lectures and you take 3 exams and that's the end of your academic experience with that. But these are the skills that employers say they want. And so having that internship to complement your classroom learning will prepare you for these professional needs and make you feel ready to take on the next challenge. So critical problem solving and analysis. Yeah, they're gonna hire you. They're gonna ask you to figure things out for them, whatever the context might be, and having practiced that in an internship is going to be really valuable. Time and time again, students are not ready to engage in competent oral communication, right? You're asked at a staff meeting to convey what it is you've accomplished in the last quarter, or analyze the data that's been presented to you and then distill it to share with your teammates. If you're not prepared for that, that doesn't look great. You are often given this kind of experience in an internship, and that's highly, highly valuable. Doesn't matter what you're going to do in life, you're going to at some point need to work in a team, work with a group effectively. Internships are a great way to bone up those skills with collaboration. Leadership opportunities, also just understanding what it's like to be professional in a professional setting is incredibly valuable. Practicing with getting an internship as well as actually being in it is a great way to build those skills at articulating what your knowledge and strengths are. What is it that you know how to do? What are you willing to learn? How can you move forward? The internship is a really great context for that. Leveraging digital technologies. I mean, sometimes you're not going to learn what you need to learn as far as the platforms that a particular employer is going to use to convey and analyze information, and internships provide that as well. And then this final one, this intercultural fluency, openness, and sensitivity, you can't practice it unless you're in a setting that there is some diversity in. And internships are often the first time that you as an undergraduate student are interacting with people in a very close way that don't already come from your socioeconomic background or your culture or your community. So practicing all of these skills before you get out into the full-time workforce will make you even more attractive to future employers. I could go on and on about how internships can benefit you, but here are just 6 really quick ways that internships have been shown, this is very strong evidence-based, to benefit students, right? You figure out what your chosen field looks like on the ground in the field. And while you're doing that with your internship, you figure out if it's actually a good fit for you. Do you like it or not? I've had several students who come to me, you know, they write their final essay in my internship class and say, I determined that I in fact do not want to be a dentist. I worked in a dental office, I shadowed the dentist, and I realized this is not for me. So that's so much better to learn now as an undergraduate rather than in the third year of dental school. It's incredibly important to be able to create professional connections early in your career. That way you can find people who might mentor you, people who you can ask advice from, and also serve as references when you're asked to apply to your next step in school or to your next employer. You never really know how a lab or an agency or a business operates until you're inside it. And once you're inside and get that insider view, you get a kind of a better reality of how that employer operates. You also actually often get insider information about new job opportunities that are coming up, new positions that are opening. I mentioned this, gaining access to a potential mentor already. And then of course, y'all need to build a resume, right? Resumes look pretty empty until you have some of these authentic professional experiences that you can include on there. So a fantastic resume builder directly benefiting you. So the next question is how to get one. And it is tricky out there right now. I'm fully aware of that. But there are resources. Jacqueline, of course, is a go-to for those of you in the College of Science. I can be helpful as well for biology majors. But there are other entities out there that are worth looking into. The Hinckley Institute of Politics has a very robust internship program. There are careers here at the University of Utah and here with the state of Utah as well, and they have their own websites that you can look into. Be persistent, apply to many different jobs, many different internships, and that will hedge your bets a little bit. I get asked these 3 questions a fair amount, and so I figured I'd bring them up today. And this is most often related to those students who want to get academic credit for their internships. Jacqueline offers the SCI 4965. I offer biology 4965. Either way, that allows you to have your academic transcript reflect this professional experience as part of your undergraduate education. I get asked often if, like, can my internship be paid? Am I allowed to get academic credit for a paid internship? Yes, absolutely. I do not discriminate based on your good fortune of finding a paid internship. They are not all paid, but that doesn't diminish the academic value of it. So yes, they can be paid or unpaid. Absolutely, there are plenty of internships that are off campus with private firms or government agencies, but your internship can also be on campus. We have, and I'm using that as a broad term, the broad on campus, whether it's with the health sciences campus or lower campus. There are also all kinds of research labs in Research Park, ARUP and BioFire and Myriad Genetics and lots of labs up there that provide internships regularly. And it can also be with a private firm, a nonprofit organization, really much anything. And yes, we want your academic record to reflect these professional experiences because they are one of those high impact educational practices. The fact that you've engaged in them says something about your undergraduate career. Let's let your transcript reflect that. All right, that's it. I know I went on really long. I like talking about this stuff. I think it's really important. I didn't have the kind of guidance I wished I had when I was an undergraduate to know what my next step should be and how to get an internship and why they're important. So I like talking about that. I'm opening it up to any questions now. I've included my email there as well if you want to email me later if something pops into your head.